I always thought trust was the strongest part of my marriage. I used to say it with pride, like a shield I carried everywhere. Emily and I don't hide things from each other. Even as I said it, some small voice inside me whispered that her eyes were drifting more often, like she was looking at a life I didn't belong in. I kept ignoring it, telling myself I was imagining things. On the morning she told me she was leaving for a women's retreat, I was making coffee. She walked in with her bag half-packed and said, "Hey, I need a weekend away. Just some time with the girls. You don't mind, right?" I looked at her. "A retreat? Since when do you even like retreats?" She laughed a little too quickly. "It's just something new. They planned it last minute." Then she kissed my cheek, without really touching me. "I'll only be gone 2 days." "Sure," I said, but something tightened in my chest. "You're really okay?" "Yeah. Why wouldn't I be?" She avoided my eyes. "I just need a small break." Later that day, I met my best friend Daniel for lunch. He shoved a basket of fries at me and grinned. "You're quiet today. Did Emily finally confess she's tired of your terrible cooking?" "She's going on a women's retreat," I said. Daniel raised a brow. "Since when does she do that?" "That's what I said." He leaned back. "Be careful, man. People do weird things when they say they need a break." I rolled my eyes. "You're always suspicious. And you're always too trusting," he said. "Just don't ignore your gut." That line stuck with me more than I wanted to admit. Later that evening, my sister Lena stopped by. She never needed a reason to check on me. "Emily leaving somewhere?" she asked, noticing the suitcase by the door. "Women's retreat," I said. Lena frowned. "Did she tell you about it before today?" "No." She crossed her arms. "I don't like that. You don't like anything Emily does," I said, trying to sound light. "That's not true," she said softly. "I just think you love her so much you miss things." I didn't answer because she wasn't wrong. When Emily finally finished packing, I helped her carry her bag to the car. "You sure you don't want me to drive you?" I offered. "No, it's fine." She placed her bag in the trunk quickly. Too quickly. "I'll text you when I get there." "Love you," I said. She paused for half a second. "Love you too." But her voice didn't land the way it used to. As she hugged me, her arms felt stiff, like she was already halfway gone. When she pulled back, she gave me a small smile. The kind someone gives when they're thinking about somewhere else entirely. She got into the car, started the engine, and waved. I waved back, trying to ignore the cold feeling sliding over my skin as she drove away. I stood there, watching the car shrink down the street. The air felt wrong, heavier than it should have been. Something inside me twisted sharply, like a warning I didn't want to hear. Daniel's joke, Lena's worry, Emily's rushed smile. It all played in my head like pieces of a puzzle I didn't want to solve. I whispered to myself, "It's just a retreat." But the words tasted like a lie. I walked back inside the house. It felt different without hurt, too quiet, too still but also strangely tense. Like the walls themselves knew something I didn't. For a long moment, I stood in the living room, staring at the door she had just walked out of. I didn't know why, but I felt like I had just watched the beginning of something that would break me, and deep down, even though I tried to push the feeling away, I sensed that nothing about this weekend was what it seemed. That night, I lay in bed waiting for a text. When my phone buzzed, it was just Daniel asking if I was fine. I typed "yeah," but even I didn't believe myself. I felt uneasy. My phone rang early in the morning, the kind of call that makes the world freeze for a second. I answered with a tired voice. "Hello? Is this Emily Hart's husband?" A woman asked. "Yes. What happened?" "She's been admitted after a minor accident. She's stable, but she asked for someone. The hospital is Ridgewood Medical. 2 towns away." My stomach twisted. I'm on my way. Didn't bother grabbing anything except my keys. As I drove, I kept whispering, "Why is she there? Why didn't she call me?" Every mile made the questions louder. When I reached the hospital and rushed to the front desk, the receptionist nodded. "Room 214, she's awake." I pushed the door open and saw her lying in bed. "Emily," I breathed. "What happened?" She looked up slowly. You're here? Of course I'm here. You didn't even call me. My eyes fell to her wrist. A white band. A name printed under emergency contact. Adrian Blake. My heart stopped. Emily, who is Adrian Blake? She swallowed. Probably a mistake? A mistake? I stepped closer. Your emergency contact is a mistake? I don't know how it got there, she whispered. I pointed at the band. Why isn't my name on it? I'm your husband. I don't know, she repeated, but her voice cracked. My pulse hammered. I looked around the room to distract myself, but that only made it worse. A sweater was draped over the chair. Gray. Large. Definitely not hers. Where'd that come from? I asked. She turned her head away. I don't know. Maybe someone left it. Someone? I leaned in. Who? I hit my head, she said. I don't remember everything. Before I could speak again, a nurse entered the room with a chart. Ma'am, your husband. I snapped my head toward her. I'm her husband. The nurse blinked. Oh, I meant the man who Emily cut her off? He meant a doctor. But the nurse shook her head slightly, flustered. He said he was her husband, the man who rode with her. Emily's voice rose. Enough, please. I stared at her. Someone claimed to be your husband? It's confusion, she said quickly. Accidents cause confusion. Stepped closer to the nurse. Who signed her in? The nurse hesitated. A man. Dark hair. He stayed with her until the paramedics moved her inside. I breathed out slowly, trying to control the shaking in my hands. Did he give his name? She opened her mouth, but Emily cut in again. Can you give us a moment, please? The nurse nodded and left. As soon as the door closed, I asked, was it Adrian? Just tell me. Emily looked down at her blanket. I don't know what you want me to say. I want the truth, I said. One person gets listed as your emergency contact. That doesn't happen by accident. She pressed a hand to her forehead. Can you stop yelling? I'm already in pain. I'm not yelling, I said, even though my voice was shaking. I'm terrified. You're 2 towns away. You never told me you were leaving that area? And someone else came here as your husband. She didn't reply. I pointed at the sweater again. Is that his? I don't know. You don't know anything today, do you? She glared weakly. Can you please not do this here? Then where, Emily? When were you planning to tell me why another man is on your wristband? It's not what you think. Then what is it? I asked. She let out a slow breath. I met some people at the retreat. Maybe they handled the paperwork. Maybe one of them filled something out. I don't remember. That doesn't make sense. Nothing about this makes sense, she said. I'm tired. I feel sick. Can we talk later? I drove an hour because they called me last, I said. I deserve answers. She closed her eyes. I'm not lying to you. Yes, you are, I whispered. She opened her eyes again. Please. I just need time. The door opened slightly, and the nurse peeked in. Is everything okay? No, I said. But we're done for now. The nurse nodded and stepped back out. Emily turned her head away from me, and I felt something inside me split open. I looked at the wristband again, the bold letters burning into my mind. Adrian Blake. A man I had never met. A man who had gotten to her before I had. A man who had been by her side when she needed someone. A man who wasn't me. When I finally walked out of the room, the sting of betrayal hit me so hard it felt physical. I gripped the hallway rail to steady myself. And for the first time, I wondered if I truly knew the woman I loved. When I walked back into Emily's room that afternoon, she tried to smile at me. The corners of her mouth lifted too fast, like she was forcing it into place. There you are, she said. I thought maybe you went home. I needed air, I replied. We weren't getting anywhere earlier. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I'm sorry about that. I'm still confused. I sat down. Then let's clear it up. The retreats are sure it was real? Yes, she said quickly. Too quickly it was real. We stayed in a cabin. We did group talks. Yoga. Stuff like that. Who led it? I don't remember her name. Do you remember who you drove with? I drove alone. Then why were you in Ridgewood? The retreat wasn't exactly where I thought. The GPS rerouted me. I leaned forward. Emily, that's not helping. I need something that sounds like the truth. She lowered her eyes. I'm telling you everything I know. And Adrian. Shh. Just someone I met at a cafe near the retreat center. I blinked. You met a stranger at a cafe. And somehow he became your emergency contact? She hugged herself. Didn't fill out anything. Maybe the hospital messed up. Maybe he stepped in when I was unconscious. Why would he do that? I asked. I don't know, she whispered. I stood up, my pulse racing. I'm going to talk to the nurse again. Wait, she said softly. Please don't make a scene. I'm past worrying about scenes. I stepped outside and spotted the same nurse near the desk. Can I ask you something? I said. She hesitated. Of course. You said earlier a man signed her in. His dark hair. At first you said he was her husband. The nurse looked nervous. I misspoke. No, you didn't, she fidgeted with her pen. It was chaotic. People say things they don't mean. Then who signed the paperwork? I pressed. She took a breath. A man brought her in. He stayed with her for a while. That's all I can say. Did he call himself her husband? Her eyes darted away. I don't recall. You do. She didn't answer. Before I could push further, a man in a white coat approached. Sir, I'm Dr. Rowan Pierce. You're Emily's spouse? Yes, I said. Can you explain who she arrived with? The doctor checked his tablet. The paramedics mentioned she wasn't alone. A man accompanied her until intake. They asked him to step back so staff could work. My chest tightened. Did they give a name? No, he said. But they noted he refused to leave until they insisted. I felt a faint ringing in my ears. Refused? Yes. He said he needed to make sure she was okay. That's not unusual, but... Dr. Pierce stopped himself. That's all I know. I rubbed my forehead. Thank you. When I walked back toward Emily's room, everything felt distant, like the hallway stretched longer than it should. My thoughts spiraled in tight, painful loops. How many things had I missed? How many nights had she turned away while I pretended not to notice? I remembered every late work event, every weekend she said she needed to recharge, every text she cleared too quickly. By the time I re-entered the room, she was lying back against the pillow, her breathing shallow. You talked to them, she murmured. Yes, I said. And they told me you weren't alone when you arrived. She closed her eyes. I don't remember. I felt anger rise again. Stop saying that. You do? I don't, she insisted. I hit my head. Things are blurry. Convenient. Her eyes opened sharply. Why are you talking to me like I'm lying on purpose? 'Cause you are. She turned her head away. I'm tired, am I? For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence felt heavy enough to crush me. Then her voice came out thin. Can we please just focus on me getting better? I want to, I said. But everything here screams that there's someone else in your life. That's not true. Then unlock your phone. Her whole body stiffened. Why? Because I need to know. I'm not doing that. Why not? She looked at me, eyes wet. Because I don't want to be interrogated. That's not an answer. I need rest, she whispered. Please leave it for now. She closed her eyes, and her breathing evened out. It wasn't long before she drifted to sleep. When her hand loosened around the blanket, I reached for her phone on the tray. Locked. She never locked her phone. I stared at the screen. My reflection warped in the glass. The small hole in my chest widened, pulling everything down with it, and for the first time, wondered if I had already lost her long before this day. The moment I stepped outside the hospital, I pulled out my phone and opened the browser. My hands were shaking, but I typed the name anyway. Adrian Blake. A list of images appeared, immediately smiling. Shirt half open, arms around different people. I muttered, "Who the hell are you?" And clicked the first profile, a gym page. Dozens of photos. Him flexing, him laughing, and with women leaning against him. Perfect teeth. Perfect hair. Everything I wasn't feeling right now. I whispered, "This guy is her emergency contact." I scrolled until one picture made my breath stop. A group shot posted 4 days ago. Adrian in the center. a cabin behind them. And on the far right, blurred but unmistakable, Millie's hair, Emily's jacket, Emily's silhouette. My chest tightened. You said you met him at a cafe, I muttered to myself. You didn't say you took pictures with him at a cabin. I stared at her blurry figure until my eyes stung. Then I saved the picture and zoomed in, even though it hurt to look. I dialed Daniel. He answered, "Hey, how's she doing?" She lied, I said. She was with someone named Adrian Blake. I found him. He's a trainer, he repeated. What kind of trainer? Gym fitness? Some social media star? Daniel swore. Send me his page. I sent it. Seconds later, damn, this guy looks like he collects wives. It's not funny. I'm not joking. He looks like trouble. I rubbed my forehead. I need more than pictures. I need answers. So, go ask. I sighed. Yeah, maybe I will. I drove to the gym listed on his profile. When I walked in, a guy with a buzz cut approached me. He wiped sweat off his forehead and said, "You looking for someone?" "I'm looking for Adrian Blake," I said. Buzzcut smirked. "He's busy charming someone, I'm sure." "Who are you?" "I'm someone who needs to talk to him." He raised an eyebrow. "Name's Mark. I'm his partner here." "What's this about?" I hesitated.
I saw a photo.
From a retreat? My wife was there. Mark let out a low whistle. "Oh boy, you one of those husbands?" "What does that mean?" "It means Adrian rotates through women like workout routines. Someone new every month." Mark grabbed a towel. "Last week, he said he had a weekend escape with someone special. Didn't say who." My stomach twisted. "Weekend escape?" "Relax," Mark said. "Maybe it's not your wife. Adrian doesn't even know half their names." I clenched my jaw. "Do you know if he's here today?" "He'll be back soon." "He went out for lunch with someone." Mark shrugged. "You want to wait?" "No," I said. "I want to talk to someone else. Receptionist, maybe." Mark pointed to the front desk. "Clara's there." I walked over. Clara, a woman in her 30s, looked up with a polite smile. "Hi, welcome. I need to ask you something," I said. Her smile faded. "Are you okay? You look pale." "I'm not okay." I took out the saved photo. "Do you recognize her? The woman on the right?" Clara leaned in. "Oh, isn't that Emily? She used to come here with Adrian sometimes." My heart lurched. "She what?" Clara blinked. "Isn't she his client, or something like that?" "She's my wife?" Clara's eyes widened. Oh no. I didn't know." I forced out. "When did she come here?" "Few times this month," Clara said quietly. "She always said she and Adrian were working on something." I didn't ask details. I swallowed hard. "Working on something." She nodded slowly. He seemed close. The room tilted for a second. I steadied myself on the counter. "Thank you," I whispered. "Do you want me to tell him you came by?" she asked. "No, I'll tell him myself." When I walked outside, the cold air hit me like a slap. I leaned against my car and whispered, "She came here with him. She spent time with him. She was at his retreat." Every clue stabbed deeper. My phone buzzed. A message from Daniel? "Find anything?" I typed back everything I didn't want to know. I stared at Adrian's pictures again. The smile, the arms, the cabin. Emily's blurred figure. I felt like a stranger in my own life. Like I had been living beside secrets instead of inside a marriage. I said out loud, "I need to see him. Face to face." My hands shook as I gripped the steering wheel. I wasn't going back home. I was going to find Adrian Blake. When I walked into the gym and saw Adrian leaning against the counter, I felt my stomach twist. He looked up slowly like he had been waiting. His smirk hit me first, sharp and casual. I forced myself to walk closer, even though my legs wanted to turn back hard. "You must be Emily's husband," he said, like he was greeting an old friend. I swallowed hard and told him my name. His eyes flickered, quick and knowing. "Yeah," he murmured. "I figured you'd show up." The ease in his voice made my skin crawl, but I kept standing there. "How close did you get to her?" I asked. My voice shook, no matter how I tried to steady it. He leaned back like the question bored him. "Close enough," he said. "She told me your marriage was already dying." Hearing him say it felt like something tearing inside me. "So that's it?" I whispered. "You just let it happen?" He shrugged, slow and careless, like none of it mattered. She came to me, he said. I didn't force anything. His tone scraped against every nerve I had left, and I felt my hands curling into fists without thinking there. Did she tell you we were fine? I asked. Did she tell you we were still trying? He stared at me like I was slow. She said you barely talked, he replied. She said she felt alone. I tasted bitterness rising in my throat, sharp enough to burn my mind. You think that makes this okay? I asked. He crossed his arms and gave me a calm, empty stare. It wasn't my marriage, he said. You should talk to her. His casual tone felt like a slap, like he believed he was untouched by any of it in the room. You don't even feel guilty, I said. He raised an eyebrow. Why would I? Adults make choices. That sentence hollowed me out. She was my wife, I whispered. And she chose me, he replied, shrugging again. Maybe that tells you everything. My breath shook like I was standing in cold. You should let her go, he added. The calm in his voice made me feel small, like he was giving me advice instead of ripping apart my life. No, I said. She's my wife. He smirked again. Was your wife? He corrected. My hands trembled as my heartbeat hammered inside. I turned away before I could say something I'd regret. He didn't call after me. He didn't apologize. He didn't even pretend to care. I walked past rows of machines and fake smiles, feeling something heavy growing in my chest. Something colder than anything I had felt before that day. Outside, the air felt too bright. My hands were still shaking, so I shoved them into my pockets. She chose him, I whispered to myself. Saying it out loud felt unreal. The words echoed in my head like a cruel chant I couldn't shut off, no matter how hard I got into my car. But I didn't start it right away. I just sat there, gripping the wheel. This won't end here, I said, feeling the words settle deep inside me. They didn't feel angry. They felt final, like a promise forming out of something sharp and very real. I thought of her smile, the one she gave me before every trip. I thought of the way she hid her phone when notifications lit up. How long? I whispered. No answer came. Just the hollow sound of my own breath shaking in the quiet car as night settled in. I closed my eyes and saw Adrian's face again, some certain, sure of his place in her life. I hated how easy it seemed for him. This isn't over, I whispered. The words tasted colder than the air outside, colder than anything still left in me as the promise hardened inside. When I finally started the engine, my throat felt tight. I didn't know what my next step would be, but I knew I wasn't done. Not with him. Not with her. And not with the truth she buried. Something colder than heartbreak guided my hands as I drove away slowly, you said. When Emily walked through the door that afternoon, she smiled like the world was perfect. I'm home, she said softly, placing her bags near the couch. I watched her move to the kitchen like she had rehearsed every step. Long drive? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Not really, she said. I just wanted to make us something good tonight. You've been so tense lately. I stared at her back as she chopped vegetables. Emily, we need to talk. She paused only for a second. Later, okay? Let me finish dinner first. No, I said. Now she let out a tiny laugh. You're being dramatic. Sit down. I'll be done soon. I know about Adrian, I said quietly. Her knife stopped. She didn't turn around. I don't know who you think don't, I cut in. Don't lie again. She finally faced me. Why are you doing this? I just got home. Because you've been lying since before you left. She shook her head too quickly. You're making things up. I told you, the retreat, Emily. Stop. My voice cracked. The hospital called me. Your wristband listed Adrian Blake as your emergency contact. Her lips trembled. That was a mistake. Hospitals mess things up all the time. And the nurse said your husband was there. Emily's eyes widened. She misunderstood. And his sweater was sitting in your room? Her face tightened like someone pulling a thread too hard. I don't know what you want me to say. I leaned on the counter, feeling my hands shake. I want the truth. She folded her arms. I already gave you the truth. No, you gave me excuses. Before she could respond, Lena walked in from the hallway, where she'd been calling her friend. "Something smells good," she said lightly, then looked at Emily. "You look nervous." Emily stiffened. "I'm fine." Lena raised an eyebrow. "Really? Because my brother isn't?" Emily snapped. "This isn't your business." Lena stepped closer. "When you hurt my brother, it becomes my business." Emily turned to me, voice desperate. "Are you really letting her talk to me like this?" I whispered, "She's saying what I can't." Emily slammed the knife down. "I didn't cheat." Lena crossed her arms. "Then why does your face say otherwise?" Emily glared at her. "You always hated me?" "That's not true," Lena said. "But I hate lies." Emily looked at me again, her smile forced. "Baby, please. You know me." "I thought I did," I said. Dinner burned in the pan, filling the room with a bitter smell. Emily rushed to turn off the stove. "Great," she muttered. "Now, everything's ruined," Lena whispered. Everything was already ruined. Emily pointed at her. "Get out," no, Lena replied. "Not until he's safe." Emily's voice cracked. "Safe from what? Me?" "Yes," Lena said. "From your lies, stop." I shouted louder than I meant to. Both women froze. My throat felt tight. "Emily, tell me the truth. Right now." Emily's shoulders sagged. "Fine," she whispered. "You want a confession? I met him at the gym. We talked. We spent time together. It wasn't supposed to be anything." My stomach twisted, but it became something. She nodded, tears forming. "Yes." Lena swore under her breath, but I raised a hand to stop her. "How long?" Emily wiped her face. "A few months." My voice broke. "Months?" She stepped closer. "I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you. I kept trying. Backed away. You lied every day instead." Emily reached for my hand. "I didn't plan for any of this. I didn't mean to fall for him," Lena whispered. "Wow." Emily glared at her again. "Can you leave us alone?" "No," I said. "She stays." Emily turned to me again. "Please. I want to fix this." "Did you go on the retreat with him?" She hesitated. "Yes." The air left my lungs. "And you planned to leave me?" Emily covered her mouth. I thought about it, but the accident scared me. It made me realize what I'd lose. "You already lost it," I whispered. She grabbed my arm. "Please don't say that." "I need you." Pulled away. "You needed him," Emily sobbed. "I made a mistake." Lena stepped beside me. "A mistake? That's what you call it?" Emily cried harder. "I love him, but I love you too." Closed my eyes. "Don't say that. Don't make it worse. Can you forgive me?" She whispered. I stared at the floor. "I don't know. Please." I walked past her to the hallway. "I need silence," I said. "Because silence can't lie to me." Emily fell to her knees behind me, crying my name, but I couldn't turn back. I couldn't breathe in that room anymore. I woke up the next morning feeling strangely calm, like something inside me had finally stopped screaming. When Emily asked, "Do you want coffee?" I just said, "No, I'm good." No emotion. No weakness. She stared at me like she didn't know who I was anymore. At work, I sat at my desk in silence until Grace, the only person who ever noticed my mood changes, walked over. "You look different," she said. "What happened?" "I'm done begging," I replied. "I'm done chasing someone who threw me away." Grace leaned closer. "So what's the plan now?" "I take my life back," I said. Quietly, she nodded. "Good. You deserve better than whatever she put you through." I didn't say anything else, but her words settled into me like fuel. During lunch, I stepped outside and called Daniel. The moment he answered, he sounded alert, like he already knew something was wrong. "Talk to me," he said. "Where are you?" "I'm outside the office," I said. "I need your help." "What do you need?" "Proof, everything I can get. Messages, dates, whatever might matter." Finally, Daniel muttered, "I've been waiting for you to fight back. This isn't revenge," I said. "I'm protecting myself." "Can be both," he said. "Text me whatever you have. I'll start digging." After I hung up, I took a long breath and called Rachel Denton, an acquaintance from a small legal firm. I expected her to be busy, but she answered immediately. "Hey," she said warmly. It's been a while. What's going on? I need advice, I said. Marriage advice. Legal advice. Her tone shifted. Tell me everything. I can't tell you everything yet, I said. Just tell me what I'm allowed to collect. Anything that belongs to you or is shared, she said. Phone records, emails, bank statements, shared accounts. But don't confront her yet. Don't warn her. I'm past confrontation, I said. I'm just preparing. Good, she said. When you're ready, I'll be here. When I got home, Emily was pacing the living room. You didn't text me all day, she said. Are you mad at me again? No, I said calmly. I'm fine. You're not fine, she snapped. You barely looked at me this morning. I'm tired, I said. That's all, she swallowed hard. Can we talk, please? Later, I said, her eyes filled with panic. Why are you acting like this? You're scaring me. I didn't respond. I walked past her, grabbed a notebook, and sat at the table. She hovered behind me, watching like she expected me to explode again. But I didn't. I just wrote down dates, places, inconsistencies, every lie she fed me. Why are you writing? She whispered, just keeping track of things, I said. For what? For clarity. Camley sat down across from me. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to fix things. You said that before, I replied. You don't believe me? Should I? She bit her lip and looked away. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I swear I'm done with him. Ow. I stayed silent. Silence hurt her more than shouting ever did. Hours later, after she finally stopped hovering, I checked my phone. Daniel had sent a long chain of screenshots with a message. Bro, you won't believe how sloppy this guy is. I scrolled through posts, tagged photos, and group messages. Adrian wasn't subtle. One post said, trust no one. Even the one you love can betray you. I stared at it for a long moment. Emily lied to him too. My chest tightened not with pain, but with a strange, heavy clarity. She had told him whatever made her feel good. She had told me whatever kept me in place. She had built two versions of herself and betrayed both. My phone buzzed again. Daniel texted. He deleted some stuff, but people screenshotted it. I'll send you more, I typed. Thanks. Locked my phone. When I walked back into the living room, Emily looked up from the couch. Can we talk now? About what? Us, she said softly. I feel like I'm losing you. You already lost me, I said, keeping my voice flat. She choked on a breath. Don't say that. You feel the shift? I said. Don't you? She nodded slowly. Yes. You're colder, distant. I don't know what you're thinking, that's the point. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Not angrily. Just firmly. Please don't do this, she whispered. I'm scared. For the first time, I said, you should be. Her tears fell. But they didn't move me anymore. The power in the room had shifted, and she knew it. I wasn't the broken one now. She was. I woke up to my phone buzzing nonstop. At first I ignored it, but the notifications kept coming. When I finally checked, my breath caught in my throat. Pictures, dozens of them. Emily and Adrian at the retreat. Holding hands. Sitting together. Kissing behind a cabin. Someone had leaked everything. Emily stormed into the kitchen. Did you see this? She cried, shoving her phone toward me. I saw, I said calmly. This is bad, she whispered. My boss saw it. My coworkers saw it. Everyone is calling me. That's not my problem, I replied. She covered her face. I can't go to work like this. I quit. I can't face anyone. Ow. I didn't say anything. She waited for sympathy, but I had none left. An hour later, Clara called me. Her voice was sharp and breathless. You won't believe what's happening here, she said. Adrian's gym is a mess. Clients are canceling memberships. People keep asking about the photos. He deserves it, I said. He's losing it, Clara continued. He's yelling at staff. He said he trusted Emily and she destroyed everything. Good, I said. Let him sit in the ruins. Claire hesitated. Are you okay? I'm better than I've been in a long time, I said. That afternoon, Emily followed me around the house like a shadow. Please talk to me, she begged. Tell me what you're thinking. I'm thinking clearly for the first time, I said. She grabbed my arm. Please don't leave me. I'm filing for divorce. Her knees buckled, and she dropped onto the couch like the words had pushed her down. No, she whispered. No, please. Don't say that. It's already done, I said. I spoke to Rachel. Millie shook her head desperately. You can't mean this. We can fix this. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll cut him off. You already tried lying, I said. I'm done. She stared at me with wide, broken eyes. Did you ever love me? Yes, I said. But I don't anymore. She covered her mouth and sobbed so loudly the whole house seemed to shake. I didn't move toward her. I didn't reach out. I didn't comfort her. Not this time. The doorbell rang. Emily wiped her face, but I didn't wait for her. I opened the door and froze when I saw Adrian standing there. He looked rough, messy hair, red eyes, no smug confidence left. We need to talk, he said. Double quotes. No, we don't, I replied, trying to close the door. He pushed his hand against it. Emily ruined my life. She told me she loved me. She told me she was leaving you. She said we were building something. Not my problem, I said. She lied to me. He shouted, She lied to me too, I said. Welcome to the club. I need answers, he said. I need to know what she told you. I need to know what she's saying now. I don't owe you anything, I said, and shoved the door shut. He started pounding. She used both of us. She played both sides. I locked the door and walked away. Emily ran toward me. Was that him? What did he say? Nothing that matters, I said. She grabbed my shirt, her hands trembling. Please don't leave me. Please don't do this. I'm lost. I'm scared. I don't have anyone else. You had him, I said. That was a mistake. All of it was. She sobbed again, falling to her knees. Don't give up on me. I already did, I said. She rocked back and forth, whispering my name like a prayer, but it didn't move me. I felt nothing. No pity, no anger. Just distance. The house went quiet after a while. Emily sat curled on the couch, shaking, unable to speak. I walked into the kitchen, made myself a cup of tea, and stared out the window. For the first time in years, I felt something that almost felt like peace. My phone buzzed again. Daniel texted, She and Adrian are trending now. People are tearing them apart, I wrote back. Let them. Emily's cries echoed faintly behind me, but I didn't turn around. Their world was collapsing. Mine was finally beginning. The courthouse felt colder than I expected. The walls were gray, the benches hard, and the air smelled like old paper and quiet regrets. Emily sat across from me, twisting her hands together. When she looked at me, her eyes were already red. I didn't think you'd really go through with this, she whispered. I told you I would, I said. Can we talk before we start? She asked. There's nothing left to say, she shook her head. There's everything to say. I ruined us. I know that. I keep thinking about the night you found out, and We're past that, I said. This is just the ending. Her lips trembled. I don't want it to end. It already did, I said. Before she could speak again, the judge called our names. We stood, walked forward, and for the first time in years, I felt steady. It's not angry, not scared, just steady. The judge reviewed the documents. You both understand the terms? He asked. Yes, I said. Emily's voice cracked. Yes. He went through the questions one by one, simple and cold. Irreconcilable differences, he asked. Yes, I replied. Emily hesitated before whispering yes. When it was done, he stamped the papers. Your divorce is granted. It's just like that. 5 years of marriage ended with a single sound. Emily covered her face as her breath fell apart. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I know, I said. Do you hate me? She asked. No, I replied. I just don't love you anymore. She flinched like I'd hit her. "Please don't leave like this. Please talk to me. I need you to understand how much I regret everything." "You regret losing me," I said. "Not what you did." "That's not true," she cried. "I regret everything." "I'm done carrying your regret," I said. Her tears fell harder, dripping onto the table. She wasn't the woman who lied to me now. She wasn't the woman who laughed with Adrian behind my back. She was just someone who had lost everything in one day. When the hearing ended, I walked out into the hallway. Lena was waiting, leaning against the wall with her arms crossed. "So," she asked. "It's over," I said. She nodded. "Good. About time." Daniel walked up behind her. "You okay, man?" "Yeah," I said. And for the first time, I meant it. We stepped outside into the sunlight. The air hit my face like freedom. "I feel different," I said. Daniel smirked. "Like lighter." "Yeah," I said. "Like something heavy finally let go." Lena linked her arm with mine. "This is the start of a better chapter," she said. "You just don't see it yet." "I think I do," I said. As we walked toward the car, my phone buzzed. I pulled it out, and my stomach tightened when I saw the name. "Emily, are you going to answer?" Lena asked. "No," I said. Daniel exhaled. "Good." I stared at the phone ringing in my hand. Emily's name flashed over and over. I knew exactly what she wanted. Another apology, another plea, another promise she hoped I'd make. But I had nothing left to give her. "I don't want to go back there," I said softly. "To that version of myself? Then don't," Lena said. "What?" "Walk forward." I let the phone ring until it stopped. I didn't block her. I didn't scream. I just let silence speak for me. As we crossed the parking lot, I heard footsteps behind us. When I turned, I saw Emily standing far away, clutching her phone to her chest. She didn't call out. She didn't run toward me. She just watched me with the kind of pain that once would have broken me. Not anymore. Daniel nudged me. "You don't have to look back." "I'm not," I said. I opened the car door, but before I got in, Emily's phone buzzed loudly across the lot. She glanced at the screen with a devastated look. She must have recognized the name because her shoulders collapsed. Later, I would learn it was Adrian's final message. "I'm moving away. Don't contact me again." But in that moment, I didn't ask. I didn't care. Lena started the car. Daniel rested a hand on my shoulder from the back seat. "You did the right thing," he said. "I finally chose myself," I replied as we drove away. I looked out the window and felt something new rising inside me, not anger, not revenge. Freedom, and for the first time in a long time, the feeling didn't hurt. I woke up to the quiet hum of my small apartment, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel the weight of anyone else's expectations on my shoulders. When Grace called that morning and asked, "How's the new life treating you?" I laughed and told her the truth. "It feels strange, but it feels real." She said she was proud of me, and I felt something soften inside my chest. I stood by the window, watching the city move beneath me, and whispered, "I'm finally learning how to live again." Later that evening, Grace and I talked again, this time about healing. "You don't owe the past any more of your life," she told me. I sighed and admitted, "Sometimes I still feel the ghost of who I used to be." She answered, "Then let him fade." Voice steadied me in ways I didn't expect. I sat at my small kitchen table, tracing the rim of my cup, and said, "I'm trying, Grace." She replied, "Trying is enough." And for once, I believed it. A few days later, I found the old wristband tucked in the back of a drawer. Seeing Adrian's name printed on it didn't spark rage anymore, just a strange, quiet acceptance. I held it between my fingers and whispered, "You took enough from me." When I told Grace I planned to return it to the hospital, she asked, "Are you sure?" I nodded and said, "I think I need to close this chapter." She didn't argue. She simply said, "Then close it with your head high." When I walked into the hospital, the familiar smell hit me all at once. I approached the front desk, holding the wristband like it was the last piece of a story I didn't want anymore. The receptionist smiled and asked, "Can I help you?" I nodded and placed the wristband on the counter. "This belongs here, not with me," I said. She looked confused, but she didn't question me. I whispered a quiet goodbye and turned away before the weight of the moment could pull me back. Outside the hospital, I breathed in the cold air and felt something loosen inside me. Grace called again, asking, "Did you do it?" I said, "Yeah, it's done." She exhaled like she had been holding her breath with me. "So how do you feel?" she asked. I leaned against the wall, letting the sun hit my face, and answered, "Empty, but in a good way." She laughed softly. That's what freedom feels like." I said, "I didn't think I would ever reach this point." She replied, "You walked through hell. You made it out." And for the first time, I believed I actually had. That night I sat on my couch, staring at the quiet glow of my phone. Emily had called earlier, but I let it ring. I didn't feel anger anymore. I didn't feel pity either. I just felt distance. The kind of distance that comes only after every lie has been faced. When Grace messaged, "Proud of you," I typed back, "Thank you for staying." She answered, "You deserved someone in your corner." I whispered to myself, "I'm finally in my own corner too." And that truth settled inside me with a warmth I hadn't felt in years, in the quiet that followed. I thought about the man I used to be, the one who begged, who doubted, who let love blind him to the truth. I whispered, "Goodbye." Not to Emily, but to him. When I told Grace about that moment later, she said, "Letting go of yourself is harder than letting go of them." I nodded and replied, "But it's the only way forward." She agreed softly. I stood by my window again, feeling the night. Breeze touched my skin and said, "My story doesn't end with revenge or forgiveness. It ends with me choosing myself." And for the first time, I knew those words were real. I finally breathed without fear, without waiting for someone else to decide my worth. I finally lived again. And as I closed my eyes that night, I felt a quiet promise forming inside me, gentle but certain, guiding me forward.